Hi, Todd Pouliot, Gateway Financial. Again, visit us at mygatewaymoney.com. I have a video today of a checklist that obviously I feel very personal about, as many of the checklists I do, but as an adoptive dad, I felt that it was important that we have a checklist for people who are becoming new parents. So this video obviously is entitled about having a child or adopting a child, but there's so many things to consider when those things are going to happen, whether or not they're planned or unplanned. So beyond the joy that the parents get from bringing a child home or adopting a child, it's a huge financial transition in your life. There's a number of things to consider for the cost of caring for that child, and it will impact both short-term cash flow and long-term savings and your wealth building objectives. Boy, don't I know that. So in this checklist, we're going to cover several major areas. So first area is we want to review our client's cash flow and update their budget. We want to include the additional cost involved with raising a child. And if one of the parents decides to stay home, how does the loss of that income impact short-term and long-term financial picture? They should check their employer's offers for that type of assistance, such as childcare subsidies or an extended paternity leave. The second area I'd like to cover is cash gifts that are received on behalf of your child. Consider funding that 529 to help with some college savings. Also want to see if you can increase your funding to your HSA. I talk about HSAs a lot on this YouTube channel. I talk about it a lot with our clients in person and on Zoom meetings, but we also want to look at the covered increased medical costs and doing that on a tax efficient basis. Very important. The third thing is our clients need to notify your health insurance provider in a timely fashion to make sure that the new child is fully covered. And also selecting a pediatrician for your child. You want to consider whether the doctor is part of your provider network. Another key is for our clients to review and update your life insurance coverage in light of the addition of the new family member. Are there certain risks that you're taking on, or possibly even insuring the child at a young age? Great tax planning situation there. And you want to review that tax situation. Take advantage of any tax credit that may be related to the child's dependent care. If the child was adopted, again, they may be entitled to a tax credit related to that as well. And finally, having or adopting a child is it's a good time for your parents right now. And it's also a really good time to do some long-term planning around those areas, such as college planning and wedding and estate planning issues, updating your wills, your trust, your beneficiary designations. All those things should come front and center as well. And there's no time like the present to do that, because the longer you put that off, the more and more we see it get put off. We want to build that momentum as we're going through the process. So as I normally do, I'm going to share my screen with you. And here we are. Let's see. The cash flow issues. Do you need assistance determining how much it costs to raise your child? Do you need help with your new budget? Will you and your partner take maternity leave? Consider how that's going to impact your cash flow and your savings. Do you or your partner plan to stay home to raise the children? Again, that's a cash flow issue. But again, also look at your employer benefits, such as health and life insurance, the impact that will have if one of you does stay home to raise the child. Professional child care services to support your family. Do you need to check if your employer offers any benefits, such as adoption expense reimbursements, child care subsidies, maternity and paternity leave? And beyond what you have saved, do you need additional cash to cover any costs relating to the adoption of the child or just having a child? So consider taking a distribution up to $5,000 from an eligible retirement plan within 1 year of having or finalizing the adoption of a child. I just wanted to maybe make that personal note here, how expensive it was. And in fact, that law wasn't even available to us back then when we were adopting our child. Not only did we have to pay the adoption agency, all the legal fees, we ended up paying even medical fees for the birth mom. And that was very important, to make sure that we had enough cash flow around for that. So there has been some changes. Make sure you take advantage of those cash flow issues that might be available. Asset and debt issues. If you receive cash gifts, consider the UGMA or UTMA and possibly a 529 account. Wonderful assets to use. They're very easy to set up, and just make sure you understand the rules relating to those, age of maturity for the state with which you're in, and not possibly overfunding that 529. Remember, not just parents can own the 529. Aunts, uncles, grandparents can all own 529s. Any dependent care flexible spending accounts. This was wonderful for us year after year after year to take advantage of an FSA for that dependent care. And the HSA. If I can't talk to you enough about an HSA, these are absolutely amazing tools. Again, $7,300 for a family in 2022. And again, if you're over 55, you get that catch-up contribution. Also, make sure you can go see the flow chart. Can I make a deductible contribution to my HSA? I love that we have a CPA here in our office to do our tax preparation, but this is tax planning. And it's just that is number one, getting that HSA up and running for your family. Insurance. Again, the health insurance policy, generally 30 to 60 days, finding a doctor and pediatrician in your network. And do you ever need to review the life insurances? Maybe increasing the amount of coverage you carry now that you have a child that you need to make sure you're aware of, such as college costs or other future expenses that may come into play. If you have a stay-at-home spouse, or a both working spouse, dual income, what is the other surviving spouse going to do? Are they going to have to quit their job, or are you going to have to hire out some significant care? Tax planning. Again, I said tax planning earlier, but I'm going to come back to it again. Is your modified adjusted gross income below 200,000 or 400,000? The full child care tax credit. Again, there's been a lot of things going on with the pandemic and how those credits have worked in the past, but make sure you understand how those work in the future. And dependent care expenses. So make sure you understand the dependent care tax credit. Again, there are some phase outs in that. When we do our tax planning, we take our client's 1040, we upload it in some software, and we can show you where you lie, whether or not you're above or below or in the middle of that phase out. Again, modified adjusted gross income. Again, that is so different, and maybe I should pause there. A lot of people don't know what their modified adjusted gross income. They just look at that AGI, adjusted gross income. So if it's below that 263, 410, and you did adopt a child, you may be eligible for the adoption tax credit, and that's up to nearly $15,000. Again, there's some phase out. Boy, I really wish they would have had that enacted when we were adopting, but we went ahead with the process anyways because she's priceless. And update how much is withheld from your paycheck. Look at your W-4. Does that need to be updated? Long-term planning issues. What about the education for your child? Nobody knows the future. We don't know what the plan is for that child. We don't have the life all put together, but what issues should I consider to fund my child's college education checklist is a great checklist that we have for you. And start saving for future expenses for your child. Automobile. I know mine's starting to chirp away how many days she has left until she's allowed to get her license. What about a future wedding or other types of expenses that you may not have that are typical automobile or wedding expenses? Again, the estate plan. Please update your estate plan. So many times life gets busy. We want to look at possibly creating a trust, appoint trustees to protect your children and manage their assets during the time that they're a minority and beyond. And then update your designations. Primary and contingent need to be updated. a lot of times, and it's horrible. You hear these car accidents, and it's both spouses are in the vehicle. What happens to those children? So those benefits for not only primary but contingent beneficiaries. And also appoint a guardian for your child if something were to happen to you and your partner while they're still minor children. And again, there's some state specific issues that we won't get into, but we're going to send out this checklist to anyone who's planning on having a child or adopting a child. There's a lot of wonderful humans out there that need a home. We are so blessed and lucky that we were fortunate enough to have a child locally born, and just the right opportunity at the right time came for us. And I hope that happens for you if you're planning on adopting or having a child. Thanks you to the people who give us those thumbs up. Thank you to the ones who subscribe to our channel. And we just wish you well and have a wonderful day.